night is going down. Swing your partner round and round. End of the night is going down. One more shot, another round. Timber, you better move, you better dance. Let's make a night you won't remember. I'll be the one you won't forget. Down, tell it, Timber, you better move, you better dance.
All right, it's going down. That's what we're
It's
going to
going
call
down, girl.
today's show.
It's going down. Yeah, girl.
So, thank
Love
you
it.
everyone for tuning in. This is Deja Brew bringing you the truth in news. And with me today is my great friend Jennifer. Welcome back.
Hello. I'm happy to be back. This is awesome. It's been far too long, my dear. Far too
Yes, it
long.
has. Yes, it has. So, we're going to talk about what's going down today.
Oh, yeah.
GITMO and all the different things. And like we've seen some
Alcatraz.
Epstein, Alcatraz, right? Alcatraz is coming
Yeah,
back.
buddy.
Hello.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fucking love it.
So you wanna jump right in, or you want me to take the
Um,
lead? How you want to do this?
yeah, okay. Well, everybody in our community knows that these sick fucks have been dealt with a long time ago, and we're watching a movie. But there are new people joining this movement every day. And honestly, I've got friends and coworkers and customer friends that are probably going to watch this just to support us, and they may have no clue. But
Exactly.
I do want to say that at George H.W. Bush's funeral, everybody got notes. All these deep state pieces of crap got notes.
Right.
And the I think that's possible that the last time we saw the real Joe Biden could have been at that funeral. Because when you start to see
Uh-huh.
the side by sides, there's no way, you know?
Right.
And oh my God. When I watched that video you sent me where it showed that I think it's Jeb Bush, right? The one who goes
Oh
like
yeah.
he sees the note and he looks like he's about to die. It's
Yep.
priceless.
Yep.
It's just a beautiful thing.
So let me just find that right here, and we'll show everybody a clip just so they'll know
Okay.
what we're talking about.
Yeah. Did we ever find out for sure what those notes said?
Oh yeah, it shows actually in this clip that we're
Okay.
getting ready to look at.
I'm watching it
Yeah.
on my phone and I got crappy eyes.
Yeah. We're gonna it I'll quote it when it comes up.
Cool. I love it.
This Trump gives them a note. They know everything. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, and it's signed
And it was
Papa Bush.
Papa Bush. Okay.
Mhm.
I remember when that happened. Oh my God. I got
Yep.
chills, girl. I got chills.
Yep.
And there's Jeb Bush.
And
I
they're
love
just
it.
like, damn. And then everybody else finding their note.
That's the
That's
real
Biden.
Biden. That ain't the one that pretended to be president.
That's Dick Cheney. Just stood up. He
Yeah,
got a note too.
yeah.
The Obamas.
Obama and Barack and Michael.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Pence and his wife got one as well.
Ah,
Yeah. That was very telling for me,
oh God.
because um, at that time we weren't thinking that Pence was necessarily on the bad side, right?
Right. Right.
However, with that being said, I actually knew some things about him being from Indiana, and he was the representative of Indiana
Ah.
years ago. And we had this little girl that, she was in all the national headlines, probably international, Sean Benet.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's actually allegedly some connections there,
Okay.
if
And
you
I
feel my
thought I had
drift.
seen, I thought I saw some photos with Jean Benet with Epstein's bitch, Jillian, whatever the fuck her name is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Maxwell. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. And see that all of that's connected,
Oh yeah.
and all of that will be coming out and being public knowledge so that people realize just how deeply this goes. And like you and I were discussing before the show, even state police officers and judges are being arrested now in all of this, um, you know, traffic of people stuff. We got to be
Mhm.
careful with our flag words, right?
Gotcha.
So the tube don't take us down.
Right. Well, I remember being a teenager and I'd read about somebody getting popped with a joint and they'd get the book thrown at them
Yeah,
where somebody who was not so nice to a woman, if you catch my drift, or hurt some little ones, and
right,
then you get a slap on the wrist. And like, I'm a teenager. And this
right.
was like, I mean, I'm in my 40s and I'm like, this makes no sense. Now it makes sense. Now it makes a ton of
Exactly.
sense.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all like all of these dots are connecting now from all of those moments when we went, huh,
Hmm.
what was that?
Things that make you go,
Right?
hmm. And
Right,
now we're like, I
right.
see you. I see you, buddy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So, and we learned a lot of it way before everybody else is.
Yeah,
The majority of the people really don't know the things that people like you and I would know.
right.
So it's going to come as a shock. We're going to have to
Yeah.
really, hold space for them, be compassionate with
Oh,
them,
absolutely.
help to explain and
Absolutely.
fill in more dots, right? Because I
Yeah,
feel like that day is really, really upon us. Like,
it
I really
is.
feel like it's already happening. This
It
stuff with
is. It's
Diddy
just,
is so much bigger than just
girl.
Diddy.
Yeah. Get out of my head. I was just thinking. I mean, until the what they really did on Epstein Island, until that is public knowledge,
Yeah,
and the SRA, until people know about that, the Epstein list stuff is not going to come out, because if it does, people are going to be jumping off buildings. They're not going to be able to fathom. There are people that still look up to people in the music industry that still worship Beyonce and Jay-Z and all these crappy people, and they're not they're not going to
right,
be able to believe it, you
right.
know. And we'll be there. I think that was the whole reason for Q. And Q
I
never
do
said
too.
never said, "Hey, this is how it is." It says, "Hey, think logically. Look at this.
Hmm.
Form your own opinion." And
Hmm.
that's exactly what we did.
How many things are coincidence before it becomes mathematically impossible?
Exactly. Speaking
Hmm.
of, I only heard a little bit of this when I was scrolling at work. Did you hear about the ship in the Brooklyn Bridge? I think it was the Brooklyn
I
Bridge.
did.
There were
Hmm.
17 people injured, and I just laughed. I was like, "Oh my god."
19. I've
Yeah.
heard 19 now though.
Really? Okay.
Two two didn't make it, 19 injured. And interestingly enough, it's the same ship from Mexico that's supposed to be used in our 250th celebration next year in the
Okay.
sailing part of it, where everybody, all the nations or whoever, bring their nice fleets of ships in or some shit that Mr.
Yeah.
P's got going on. So, I mean, that's kind of weird too, but it
All of it is
didn't it
weird.
didn't thankfully it did not affect the structural integrity of bridge the way that the one in was that Boston?
Mm-hmm.
That
Think so.
remember that? Remember when the ship hit the? Was it Maryland? Yeah, Boston.
I might
It was
have
a
to
big
Google
deal
that and be
bridge, and I
sure.
can't. I
Yeah.
think it was Boston. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was Boston.
Okay.
Anyway, that one got destroyed. Right, that
Yeah.
bridge fell
Yeah.
because they were actually doing construction on it. So thankfully, that didn't happen this time.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it was the same type of an event though, where the ship lost power, and that's why it hit the bridge. It lost
Yeah.
power. That's interesting.
Very like I'm gonna go on this ship, and then we're not gonna make sure we have power. We're not gonna make sure we have backups to the backups. I'm not a person who's gonna be on a ship unless I'm on a cruise. That's different. But
Well,
I don't know much about that. But that just seems very fishy.
my dad was actually a merchant marine in U.S. Coast Guard,
Okay.
so I know quite a bit about ships and water and the maritime laws and all of that stuff. Thanks to my dad,
Mm-hmm.
even like 1,000 knots that you could tie. But
Nice.
as far as I understand, ships have not one but at least two backup generators
Yeah.
for in case they lose power. Now, granted, my knowledge came before they were as electronically run as they are now
Right.
in modern
Right.
times. So I don't, but I would still think, why wouldn't you have backup generators? You know,
Yeah.
that's just kind of a no-brainer for a big vessel like
Exactly.
that. So, yeah, it makes you wonder, was it like a EMP or something, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And was that a weaponized thing, or did that come from the sun and some solar flare? Like, what happened there? Like, really, what happened that it would
I
knock
mean,
out every resource? That just doesn't, something ain't adding up, kid.
no, it's not. No, it's not. And I do know in this war, because people need to not get it twisted. We are in a war, a spiritual war, an attack on our consciousness.
100%.
And
100%.
they send signals back and forth. Like that could have been some type of something that we don't understand, but a message for the deep state. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right. Or from this deep state.
right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we really have no way of knowing how much
Mm-mm.
control they still have over anything. But
I don't think they have a whole lot.
I don't feel like they do, but they are quite a resourceful adversary, or
Oh
have
yeah.
been in the past anyway. So
Yeah.
you got to give them kudos for that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of people don't realize that our president didn't have just 2 attempts. He had like 8, you know.
Yeah.
And General McInerney, that's who I got that number from, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 times, you know, and one time was over top of Hawaii. I think it was like 2018, 2019. Do you remember when they had the nuclear bomb warning system go off for the whole island,
Yeah.
and everybody was like freaking out, thinking they were getting ready to get nuked or something?
Yeah.
So what that really was, allegedly, uh, was an attack on Air Force One as he was flying over, headed
Okay.
somewhere else. And I believe he was headed to North Korea, actually, if I remember correctly, to talk to
Interesting.
Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is, you know.
Yeah.
And so they had like a heat-seeking missile type attack in progress. And from my understanding, I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure, but from my understanding of it, one of the F-18s that fly with them took the bullet, basically.
Hmm.
So, you know, because that's their job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Protect
And
the
the one that
president.
we saw on the
Protect
at the
the
rally,
yeah.
that one, that we saw that one because they wanted us to see it. I don't know which side. I think the White Hats. You know, I've
I
heard
don't
that there's been like 50 something attempts. I don't know
yeah.
that. That could be hearsay. But
Yeah.
I was at work when that happened, and I heard about it, and then I called my mom, and I'm like, seriously? And they're like, yeah, we were watching it. Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh my God, I had no clue. I'd been outside all day, and my
Mm-hmm.
phone was ringing off the hook. All kinds of people were trying to call me, and my phone's laying up on the porch, and my kid's like, "Mom, go get your phone. Like, clearly something's going on." And
Something.
I answered the phone, and they're like, "Turn your TV on!" Like everybody's freaking out. Turn your
Yeah.
TV on.
But it was so
And
cool because he said something like, "Watch this," and he was talking about something else, and then it happened. Like it's
he
just,
said, take a look at this. As he
hmm
was turning, he said, take a look at this, and then pop, pop.
yeah,
Um, but I think that the deep state wanted this to be a public attack the same
hmm
way that Kennedy's was,
okay,
you know,
okay,
because this wasn't just about taking him out. I mean, what has
no,
he said all along? They're not after him, they're after us.
right,
He's just standing in the way.
exactly,
Well, if you
exactly,
look back, even though we weren't alive when Kennedy was taken out, if you look back, you can still feel the emotion of that day,
oh hell
right?
yeah, hell
Worldwide.
yeah,
Okay.
oh
So
yeah,
now you imagine that happening again when all of us are just now starting to wake up to truths and
right,
feel like we're at the precipice of real freedom and real
hmm
justice that we can trust again.
yep,
And if that happened, it would squash all of it. Yeah, I mean,
it would,
it would have taken the air out of our balloons, and if anything, it would have led to like some kind of a civil unrest that would have not been good for any of us. You know, like
yeah.
not good at all. There wouldn't have been a winner in it.
But honestly, and I know people are probably gonna people who are new to this are gonna think I'm nuts. I don't really care. I don't think we're seeing the real Trump. He's got multiple body doubles. All these people have body doubles. And I don't know, what was it the Q drop said that POTUS is insulated?
Yeah,
Like it's been a while since I
yeah,
looked at the Q drops, but I don't think we're seeing the real Trump at the rallies, at any of it.
and yeah, and I hope that's true. I hope that's accurate. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't want anyone getting hurt, but
Mm-mm.
um, I mean, he's no saint, he's no
No,
savior, but
no.
he is certainly our chief in command,
Yes.
leading us back to this revolution that we're supposed to be living in that's called the American dream,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we're so enslaved in so many ways that it's
And
not even
a
funny
lot of people
anymore.
don't even realize it. I mean, they're starting
No.
to. They're starting
Yeah,
to realize it, but
yeah,
enslaved, taxed every which way is just ridiculous.
right. So yeah, I'm really hopeful for all of this GITMO stuff that's getting ready to roll out. Um,
Oh yeah.
I feel like you said at the beginning, this is sort of like we're in a movie and a lot of it has already taken place. And so the
Oh
public
yeah.
is just now learning because we've learned from researching the Anon stuff and different things
hmm
that typically the things that we're just figuring out already happened.
Yeah. That's the only
So,
way Q can say nothing can stop what's coming.
right, because it had to have already happened before the public knows.
And this whole Alcatraz thing, I forget what I was listening to. It might have been Janine, Terra by Janine. It might have been something else. But if he's talking about opening up Alcatraz and remodeling it, he's already done it. And I think what I was
What do you think
hearing
that's about?
was, well, he was saying illegal aliens. So that made Janine go, I wonder if it's real aliens. Because I'm sorry, them fuckers walk among us. I know they
Oh,
do.
absolutely. They
I
look like
know
us,
they do.
but they're not us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
100%.
joke, I joke all the time that I'm not human. I may be in a human form, but and I always say, come and take me back to my home planet because this shit is
Yeah.
not it. This is
Right.
not it. And I have friends that I know are starseeds just like me, and I'm trying to grab them by the hand and guide them, and explain to
Yeah.
them the reason that you don't fit into this world is because you were here to create a new one.
That's
You know,
right. And I
um,
actually just did a video on that last night. Who are the light workers and star
yeah,
seeds?
I haven't watched it, but I shared it to my
I just did
starseed
a
friend.
video on that.
Yeah.
And I was literally just talking to my roommate about how really kind of in the past 5 or 6 months, it's like almost everybody I come in contact with knows that word and the definition of it, starseed.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's
Yes.
mind-blowing, right?
And
That's huge.
absolutely. And I crack jokes all the time, but I'll say this: in 2020, I was working at a little quick service wing restaurant, and everybody's wearing their mask, and I'm like, no, no. And we had this cop that was a regular, and he said, "Where's your mask?" And I said, "I'm not wearing one." And he said, "Well, why not?" And I said, "Do you want to know the real reason?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Because if there's any chance we're being watched by reptilians, they need to know I do not fucking submit." And he looked at me like,
He was like, "Okay, girl, go on about your business."
but girl, nowadays, I'll be talking to customers, we're talking about crazy stuff that's going on. I'm like, well, that's what happens when the world is run by reptilians. And they're like, you know what? You're probably right about that. So much has changed.
Yeah,
So
vampires and
much has
reptilians.
changed. Yes. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's
Yep.
the only thing. It's crazy.
It really
You know, I
is.
remember when I got into all this, for me, my wake up moment, I come to visit my parents. My mom's talking to me. And at the time, I was reading books about Motley Crue. I was reading Nikki Sixx's The Heroin Diaries, and I was very much rock and roll. Still am, but you know. Um, and it was like, she's telling me about these late term abortions, full term abortions. Like, I can be 9 months pregnant and then decide to abort my child. I can give birth to my child and then decide to abort it. And I'm like, that's murder. That makes no fucking sense. And that's what made me go, okay, hold up. Everybody stop. I need to go digging. And I remember looking at my dad going, are we living in an episode of Supernatural? You know, like, is that what this is? And then I go down the rabbit holes. I found Q. I discovered all of it. And then I come to my dad a couple weeks later and I said, no, we're not living in an episode. We're living in the whole goddamn series. This is it.
Pretty much.
This is
Pretty
fucking
much.
it.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I
and
know.
that's
It's crazy.
when I woke up, like, with a quickness, like
Yeah.
hardcore. Yeah.
And it's
It's
crazy how
insane.
people like us are actually drawn to those shows because there's so many people now that I've met through my work and different things
Oh,
that
yeah.
actually watched Supernatural, that watched, oh my God, what's it called Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And you know, something I've thought about, and you know, you're way more in touch with your intuition than I am. I'm getting there, but I'm a rocker chick. Always have been. 14 years old. Marilyn Manson's my favorite band.
oh, sure.
I've been very much aware of the
Mhm.
imagery. Hell, he's got an album called Antichrist Superstar. I get it. Probably not the best to listen to, but I love it. And then recently I've discovered this band called In This Moment. And this bitch is badass. And she's like the metal Lady Gaga, and she's amazing. And at first glance, I'm like, oh, they've got to be satanic. But then I start looking at the lyrics and I go, wait a minute. She's not praying to the devil. She's praying to God, saying, I fear I'm laying with the devil. You know, and she's got all these songs. She's got one called 1111. She's got one called Twin Flames. There's just so much. And like,
Huh.
I wonder if the ones that are so obvious with the imagery, maybe they're not. Maybe there's just shock rock. I don't know. One of these days we need to do a show and break out some tarot cards and do some deep dives into these people. You know,
I would love that.
because
Yes, we should do that.
I gotta
We
know.
totally
Because man,
should.
I'm rocking out with this chick. I'm obsessed. I want to follow her around and carry her makeup bag. She's
Wow,
amazing.
you got it
And
bad.
I would pay money to see her whoop Lady Gaga's ass.
Oh,
And you see,
wow.
the thing about this chick, she's got hips that don't lie, like that puts Shakira's hips to shame. So I'm pretty sure she's a real female.
Right.
Whereas Lady Gaga is
I'm pretty sure she's really not
no,
the dude looks like a
she's
lady type.
in the cult. She is in the cult. And I used to be the biggest Lady Gaga fan, but I've seen things that I
Right.
can't. And you know, when we started going down these rabbit holes with these celebrities that we like, we're trying to disprove it. It's like, okay, for example, Lady Gaga can't be a Satanist. No, this can't be real. But we're trying to disprove it, and we're finding evidence that says, oh, no, yep, she does very bad things to kids. You know, they all do. I'm just hanging on to hope that Marina Brink from In This Moment is not, and that Marilyn Manson is not. You know, he's got a song oh damn, I can't even remember the lyrics right now. But yeah, he says in this song, I went to God just to see, and I was looking at me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, at first glance, that sounds sacrilegious and satanic. But knowing what we know, when you step out of religion and get into spirituality, we are
Yeah,
all fractals of God.
right.
So
I mean,
is
I
he
I
really
kind of get
seeing?
that. Yeah,
Yeah, I do too. So it's like one of these days we got to do deep dives into these
yeah.
so-called,
And
you
also, I
know.
think maybe some of them are they were given that option, right? Like in that video we watched
Hmm.
about Gitmo, maybe they are given this opportunity, if you will, to take a plea deal, right? And
Right.
kind of become an actor to sort of act out some of this stuff
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
to show how um, demonized being
Yeah.
famous has become, right? Because
Oh yeah.
it's all over Hollywood, the music, the movies, the plays, everything, just
Yes.
all over the place, you
But
know.
even nowadays, like in that video that we were talking about Sam Smith, you've got pop stars.
Hmm.
When, like, okay, back in our day, Ozzy Osbourne, yeah, everyone thought it was satanic. Marilyn Manson's my generation's Ozzy Osbourne, and in this new generation, you got Marina Brink in this moment. But it's like, damn, I lost my train of thought. It's been a
They're
long day.
actors.
Yeah,
Maybe they're
but I mean,
actors.
yeah,
Maybe they're
but you know
playing a
what?
role to take a lesser punishment or whatever
Or
to help everybody
or
else wake up.
they could be plants, but like it's like the pop
Right.
stars are now,
Some of them very well
yeah,
are.
the pop stars are now being overly satanic. You got Rihanna talking about she praying to Lucifer and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
in your face. Well, Manson, Ozzy Osbourne, they had started in your face. And I don't know about you, but like I
Yeah.
used to write music. Well, still write lyrics, but I used to play guitar. I used to want to be a rock star, all that stuff. And my lyrics are kind of on the dark side, but I know who I pray to. I pray to God,
Hmm.
you know.
Right.
Um,
I mean, there's a
it's just
difference
very
between
curious.
expressing your emotions from deep rooted pains and deep rooted opinions of people
Yeah,
because of things that have happened to you and
right.
being demonic. It's two different things.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, some lyrics are going to be
exactly.
dark because they're heavy, other
Yeah,
lyrics are going to be dark because they're evil. So
mine are heavy for
I
sure.
think that's the
Like,
difference, right? Like that's the difference. Some are just
yeah,
heavy.
absolutely. Mine are heavy because the best lyrics or poetry or whatever you want to call it that I've written has come from pain, heartache. I don't write lyrics when I'm in a happy relationship. I write
Yeah.
lyrics when that relationship ends and
Right.
healing, you
And a
know?
lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people that's their
Hmm.
therapy. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
a lot of the songs are
Oh
going to
yeah.
they're going to have soul in them, you know, because they're talking about their experiences. That's why I like blues music
Exactly.
so much.
Like who?
It's real. Blues. I
Blues,
love
yeah.
R&B. R&B again.
Okay.
That's my
Hmm.
jam because it's soulful.
Have you ever heard of a chick called ZZ Ward?
No.
I'm gonna send you her first album. Oh my god. I've seen her in
Okay.
concert twice and I smoked a blunt with her bass player.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah, girl. Me and my best friend Megan went to go see him. And I had bought a t-shirt for the band Silent Comedy that played right before them. And we were like, Silent Comedy was done. We're gonna go put the t-shirt in the car because we were kind of fucked up and we're having a good time. And we see this guy that we recognize. And I was like, hey, are you in ZZ's band? And he's like, yeah, we're like, okay. And then my friend looked down and she goes, is that a blunt? And I'm sending her telepathic messages like, bitch, be cool. I got this. And he's like, yeah. And you see him grab this stool and he starts to back up, but he's still facing us. And I said, dude, you can, like, I know you need to get your mind right for the show. It was really great to talk to you. He's like, no, no, y'all come on. And we smoked a blunt with him. And then we said, thank you. Have a great show. We'll see you out there. And we walked to the car to put the Silent Comedy t-shirt in it. And my friend goes, oh my God, Jennifer, the things that happen when I'm with you. And it's like, because I don't give a fuck.
Right.
It was great to be in my 30s again. Oh man, good times.
Right. I have
yeah.
to say, my
But yeah,
30s
you'll
was
love her.
probably
She's
some of my best times too.
oh yeah. Now being in my 40s are starting to look up. Now that I'm
Yeah.
getting back to my true self. But yeah, no, ZZ Ward is like 2 parts hip hop, 2 parts blues, 1 part hip hop. You're gonna love it. I've never met anyone who I have not introduced her first album that they did not fall in love. It was
All right,
great.
cool.
I'll send you that tonight.
All right. So, real quick, I want to cut to a clip that I wanted to show that
Okay.
talks about GITMO a little bit more, sort of explains that a
Yeah.
little better
Yeah.
to some of the people that may not understand where we're at with all this.
Yes, let's do it.
I don't know if you noticed, but there were flashes of light up in some of those
I
windows
did.
upstairs.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't know what that was for sure. 602
scheduled
hanging
for
gallows
an
have been
international
built.
summit
I remember that.
in the late
I do
summer.
too.
All of these criminals at the very top, the godfathers, if you will, the syndicate who began this campaign to exterminate and depopulate mankind. Levels of treason that has occurred in all levels of society. And so we've been going around and not give them the deal. Some have agreed to play a role to the general public so that we can arrive at the point for everyone, for that tribunal.
Entrance to the White House, and 2 men are carrying something that looks like a coffin inside.
755 on the 7.
Allegedly, prison buses carried over 500,000 traitors to justice. 500,000 is how many sealed indictments we had.
White House. There's a lot of activity. These buses.
And there was something very suspicious going on there. I don't know if you remember this or not.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of like JAG lawyers going in and out at night.
Or houses or condos or whatever they are. What could this be? I can't figure it out. From what I understand, this is again, this is called chatter because I've only heard it online and I can't back it up with multiple sources. But this whole operation was set up to let them commit treason, so they would certify an election that constitutionally cannot be certified. And all of the people that created treason, does anybody know how many indictments have been created?
And then, so he swore in 11:47.
So I'm going to pause that right there for a minute.
Okay.
And we'll come back to that because that's about the, what do you call it? The 3 volley salute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how they gave Biden the 3 volley salute for his
Yeah.
inauguration, which they'll explain later
Yes.
on. But so I want to get into that in a minute. But right now, I want to back up to the 2020 election and how we already understood that this was something that was stolen. This was
Yes.
illegal. Everything about it was illegal, even down to what time Biden was sworn in, because you're not supposed to swear in the new president until the stroke of midday, noon. And they did it like 9 minutes prior to noon.
Oh yeah.
Which means we technically had 2 sitting presidents, which makes it defunct, right?
Yeah.
In and of itself, even if the election wasn't stolen, that would make it defunct. And then he didn't actually get an inauguration salute, which would be the 21 gun salute. He got the 3 volley salute. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But the point here I wanted to make is that a lot of these people that are going to GITMO are actually going because they've committed treason. High crimes of treason. And that's
And
a
them
big deal.
stealing the election, was that what made it, what turned it into treason? Okay.
Yeah, I mean that and
Thought
other
so.
things. Other
Oh,
things
yeah.
that happened also were treasonous, sharing state secrets, with other countries, things like that. I mean, come on, Hillary's emails, right?
Oh
That she
yeah.
30,000 emails that she whitewashed that were coming to
Oh
a
yeah.
private server in her home that were government
Mhm.
secrets.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's something in that that would qualify for high treason,
Oh,
you know.
absolutely.
And I heard
Absolutely.
something today, speaking of the treason, I heard Kash Patel saying something today about how Comey and Strzok and those people. I can't think of all their names right off the top of my head, but you know who I'm talking about. That all
Oh
of
yeah.
them that were doing the Russia stuff, and
Yes.
and they faked the documents, they lied under oath to Congress, and how
Oh
that's
yeah.
treasonous. But maybe that there's some kind of statute of limitation thing that would keep them
Okay.
from prosecuting on that. And I'm not
Okay.
clear how that works, because it seems like to me treason is treason. There shouldn't be a statute of limitation on
Yeah. Absolutely.
it. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on with that, and I don't really know what he was trying to insinuate there,
Hmm.
because he wasn't real forthcoming.
Right.
He was sort of talking in Zen to
Yeah.
navigate it carefully. And
Yeah.
at the end of it, he said that in a week or two we would see some pretty big deal stuff. So
Well, that whole James Comey Instagram post 8647, like,
yeah, I mean, every
come
Nimrod
on.
knows that that's blatant call out to harm
Yeah.
a sitting president. Like,
Yeah. And there was a post going around about the 8647 and linking it to the Q drops, and it was about Comey. So I'm
oh, really?
wondering if, yeah, I'll see if I
Oh,
can't
see,
find it
that's
and send it to you.
interesting. Yes, please do.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, because that gives it a triple meaning,
Oh yeah.
not just a mirrored double meaning,
Right.
but a triple, because it's also exactly 8,647 days prior to that 9/11 happened.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I
And
think that was
you
the
know how they
gist
work
of
in
the post.
numbers.
Yes. Yes.
Even though the vibration and the magic of numbers came from our creator, they've learned how to prostitute it basically, and use it as a negative tool, a negative
Mhm.
weapon even, if
Yeah.
you will. So they know the vibration of the numbers, and they know that if they do things on specific number patterns, that things will happen.
I wonder if James Comey isn't being puppeted by the white hats to put out that post, because it was just on his part
Mhm.
stupid. Like, everybody knows what
That's what
86
I
means.
said.
Like, come on.
You might be onto something there, because I actually said that when I saw it. I'm like, he used to be the head of the FBI. He's not stupid
He
enough
knows.
to put something like that on there, knowing
Right.
that Cash Patel and Don Bongino and Pam Bondi and people like that are looking to stop this kind of madness.
Right. Oh
So
yeah.
you're onto something there, because I mean, I did think far enough to say he's not that stupid or naive to do such a thing
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
without knowing the
Oh yeah.
consequences. I really don't think that he's just such an arrogant prick that he thought nobody was going to come knocking on his door.
No.
I'll
No.
tell you
He
that.
had to have known. He had to have known. There's no way. He worked for the freaking FBI. I know that if I
Right.
post
I mean,
that
yeah.
8647 on Instagram, motherfuckers are going to be coming and knocking on my door.
Right.
So,
But also, with that being said, there were people like Kathy Griffith, whatever her name is,
yeah.
that ugly ass comedian lady,
Yeah. Yes.
and Rosie O'Donnell and
Okay.
Madonna. And, there were several people that actually wanted to him before, when
Oh yeah.
Comey was the head of the FBI, and nothing was done to any of those people. Nothing.
Right.
They didn't
Right.
even bring them in for questioning. It was just,
That we know of.
I
I don't
don't
know.
I don't know. I don't feel like they were. I
Yeah.
feel like they got by with way too much
Oh
that
yeah.
we don't, like they didn't have to play by the same rules that everybody else has to play by,
Right.
for sure. But
But I
yeah, I
think
just
it's
wanted to kind
definitely.
of point out that some of those type of things are probably things that people can expect to start learning about, that there
Mhm.
were crimes of high treason, that there were espionage acts
Oh yeah.
happening, within our own country. And in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure most Americans would agree with me, and maybe even other people around the world, it's high time we do something about this and stop it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're
Absolutely.
supposed to be like this great, loving, kind helper, big brother in a good way kind of country, and we've turned into like big brother overlords because of all these
Mhm.
people getting too big for their britches in all of these
Exactly.
compartments that don't have to talk to each other and share their information, which is bullshit.
Well, I think a lot of the problem is, you know, there's a lot of people with the mindset that say, "Oh, well, what can you do? What can we do?"
Yeah,
Well, we can do something. We can band together. There's way more of us than there is of them. And if
that's
we're just not organized, that's why
that's
we're doing
right.
shows like this.
Right, exactly. And God said, "We're more than one gather in my name," right?
Yep.
That there will be miracles. And we all kind of understand that we're the consumer, and if we all buy into something, whether literally or mentally, right,
Mhm.
that there's going to be more of that in demand. And if we don't buy into it, then it's going to slack off, right? And it
Yes.
changes the game. It changes the
Yes.
narrative. It changes the direction that we're going, whether it be a product we're purchasing or something they're trying to sell us that's just bullshit, right?
Right.
Through the media or whatever. And so, and I do see a big change there, actually. So
Oh,
I think the consumers are doing really good at not consuming the bullshit. So good job,
yes.
everybody.
Good job. Yes. Everybody should pat
Totally.
themselves on the back.
That's right. Because
Absolutely.
collectively we are powerful in numbers, right?
Uh-huh.
We really are. And even
And
our
you know what?
pledge says,
Yeah.
stand in allegiance together, right? Um,
And I think every day more and more people, like, it's like a light bulb goes off and they're like, wait a minute, everybody
mhm.
has their breaking point, their wake up moment,
Yeah,
and
and
it's
I
happening.
think that was like the big purpose for all the actors, right? All of the
Yeah.
people that they were cut the deal, play your part so that we can help show everybody else just how bad this really did get, even though it's not
Mhm.
always out in the public. They're kind of
Right.
pushing it out in the public so that people can see that it was that bad before they start
Right.
telling them the truth about arrests and prosecution and punishment and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think they got to get the majority of the masses on the same page. And I think
Mhm.
what's going to do that is the children, you
Oh
know,
God.
that's going to
Right. Me
unite
too.
us all.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm not even like a person that really likes kids as a whole. I have cats. I'm not a mom, but I would die for any child. Any child.
Right.
I would give my life. And
Right. I
most
mean,
of us humans feel that way.
yeah, I think the majority of us were raised with that, love thy neighbor, help thy neighbor kind of mentality to where,
Mhm.
especially for children, right? If we
Oh
see a
yeah,
little kid that's lost or hurt or in danger, we're going to do something.
we want to protect them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just naturally in us to do this.
Mhm.
So I agree. That's going to be the thing that unites us the strongest, but it's
Oh
also going
yeah,
to be the thing that cripples so many people when they start finding out the horrid truths.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think we have things like the Diddy trial, because it's gonna lead into
Oh,
so much more. We're
most
only
definitely.
we're only scratching the surface with this whole Cassie Ventura thing. And my
Yeah.
heart goes out to her. All the shit she had to put up with. But
Yeah.
that's just the first one, isn't it? There's gonna be a lot more.
Right. Because I mean, just him alone, he had, there probably, who knows how many hundreds or thousands of victims that he perpetrated. And then you've
Hmm.
got other people that are connected to his ring that are, those names are going to shock people, right? And we can start with like the lesser of the shocking people, which will most likely be like, Kardashians or
Oh yeah,
Oprah's or people like
yeah,
that, right? Somebody that's like more famous celebrity types. But then when they get into politics and judges and lawyers and
yep.
police officers, like they're kind of slow dripping that now with like the couple of state cops that they arrested
Oh
that was in
yeah,
that 209 that they just arrested that one day.
that's huge.
That is really huge. And did you know that there's actually like an overwhelming abundance of private airplanes flying back and forth all over the United States daily
I
right
did
now?
not. I did
And
not.
I think that might have something to do with these covert arrests that are
Oh
being
yeah.
made,
Oh yeah.
Like they're getting the private jet companies to do the transportation for these
That's
arrests.
smart.
Yeah, I think so
Mhm.
too. And it might have even had something to do with all of the drones and stuff in Jersey and all of that, honestly. Because
Oh, yeah.
even though those drones were like seen all over the United States in different cities and states over the past few
Mhm.
years, really over the past few years, um, and worldwide, because other countries were reporting seeing them too, but not as heavily as Jersey. Most definitely, Jersey was pretty concentrated. And if you
Yeah.
think about that, maybe that's where a whole lot, New York, New Jersey area was where a lot of these cartels were located or
Oh,
something,
hell yeah.
right? And so the drones were
Absolutely.
probably like some kind of surveillance that was going on to locate them before they do mass arrests. And that's why they couldn't tell anybody what was going on and let them believe it was aliens, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in aliens and I believe in orbs, you know,
Mhm.
but I think this was something more covert and man-made, honestly.
That's a really good
Especially
point.
especially because I actually know a person very well that used to work for NASA who knows that worked on the drone projects, and they have drones the size of SUVs that look like a winged airplane.
Wow.
Kind of fits the bill, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, really, that's fucking brilliant.
Hmm.
I mean, can
Yeah.
you imagine 20 years from now, once everything is said and done and it's all done, the books and the movies that are going to be written about this whole time
Right.
period, lead it like
Right.
from when Trump was asked to run for president to now to all of it. Oh my God. What a great time
Yeah.
to be alive.
Right? I mean, in so many ways, in so many
Yeah.
ways. This is Confucius got it right for us. We definitely live in interesting times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see why I chose to come here for such a time as this.
Me too.
Absolutely.
And it's finally making all the hell we had to go through as starseeds and volunteers worth it.
Mhm. Yep.
Like it's really starting to make it worth it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And I'm stoked.
I was a little tipsy talking to my parents, and I get a little spiritual. I start preaching some Dolores Cannon, and my mom's
Right.
like, "Where can I find that?" I said, "I'm gonna send it to you right now." And then I sent her some of your content when you're talking with your friend Melissa about uh, the whole Dolores Cannon New Earth, and I was so intrigued by that conversation. And I was
Yeah.
commenting faster than, like I'm like 5 minutes in and I'm commenting, and and then I started to think, because I mean the whole we're like our loved ones that are not on the right frequency are just going to be gone. That doesn't resonate with me either. I think that at the time with Dolores Cannon, when she got that information, I think that was the case, but we're shifting timelines left and right. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think we're all going to get
Mhm.
there. And if
I
we
do
don't
too.
get there, then it's the people that don't ascend to the new earth, or the people that are soul contracted to cross over and be reincarnated. I really think that's the case. That's
Yeah.
what resonates with me.
Yeah. That's what resonates with me too. And that video that I sent you tonight that I said,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you get some time, watch that.
To be tomorrow.
It actually has some science to back up what we talk about with how
Hell
we're
yeah.
creating a new earth and we're creating a new timeline, and
Yeah, we are.
that our thought energy can manifest things. Like it actually shows this really cool type of new technology where we can visually photograph the Earth's energy fields in a whole different way. And it literally shows this mega aura of energy around the Earth, like we're creating a new Earth. I mean, it's fucking
Because we are.
amazing, man. It's
We came here to hold the
amazing.
high vibration. I was
Yeah.
just telling my starseed coworker, like first time I met her, I knew it. I was like, "Yep, you're a starseed. You came here just like me." And I explained to her, I was like, "Don't think of it as you've got some big job to do. It's like you being you and smiling at customers and holding a high vibration. You're
Yes.
doing it. You
Yes.
being a good mom and being you. You are holding that high vibration, and it's just like." You are energetically linking arms with me and every other starseed on the planet, and we're holding it down and we're lifting it
Yep.
up. So don't ever think for a second that you don't matter, because you do 1,000%. We all do.
Yes.
It's
I just high
beautiful.
fived you in my head.
Yeah, girl. One day I need to get her over here and we ought to video chat. I want you to meet her.
All
She's
right,
a
cool.
doll. I'm literally twice her age, but
No.
I met her, I was like, yep, she's one of us.
All
1000%.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I've
Absolutely.
met quite a few young ones lately.
Oh yeah.
You know, I work professionally as a psychic medium, and that's actually where I've been able to gauge how frequently now people understand that term starseed, right? Or
Yeah.
volunteer. Because
Oh
when I'm
yeah.
helping them figure out their stuff, they're telling me things, and I'm like picking up energetically these different things, and I'm like, "Do you know what a starseed is?" And like some of them are as young as 19.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah. Oh
"This is
yeah.
amazing! Like this is
It's great.
amazing!"
It's
Yeah,
great. And just
yeah,
even I noticed a few years ago, manifesting, the term manifest, like so many people who are not
yeah,
even thinking starseed, ETs, nothing like that, they are starting to understand that our subconscious mind creates reality. Like I work at a gas station and people come in with lottery tickets and they're like, I don't know why I buy these. I never win. And I said, well, you're a winner in my book. You got to believe it. You got to believe you're going to win. The people who come in and say, I don't know why I buy this, I never win. Well, that's why. The people who
right.
come in and say, and so if I'm ringing up somebody's Powerball or Cash for or whatever, let me run your winning lottery numbers. I'm speaking it into existence for you. You got this, and I think that people are starting to understand that what we believe creates everything around us.
Yeah, it's magical.
It's
Yeah,
so very magical.
I actually
Love
had
it.
somebody say to me, they were like, "Well, if we're living in a matrix, right? If we're under some kind of mind control field because of all of these different things they're bombarding us with, and we truly live in a matrix, how do we get out of the matrix?" And I'm like, "It's actually really easy. You just shift your perspective.
Yeah.
Shift your perspective. Like, I don't
Hmm.
play by these rules. This is not really the way, like, just like with, am I a winner or am I a loser? Shift your
Yeah.
perspective, right?
Yep.
Am I healthy or unhealthy?
Yep.
So shifting
Exactly.
perspective is what changes the
Your
reality.
mindset. Yeah.
And that's how you get
Yep.
out of the matrix. And I think that's
Hmm.
how we're actually building this great big auric field around the earth, because we're all figuring out that we can just, shift perspective and shut off the matrix.
Start to think things differently. And it's
Hmm.
like staying positive. And we can't stay positive literally all the time, but you and I know, and most of the people in
Right.
our community know, these reptilians feed off our loosh, off of our negative energy. So we're not
Yes.
giving them any. Like my parents will still
Right.
watch the news, not as in, oh my God, this is the news, but as in, curious what's going on, and I'll stand there and I'll listen to all the headlines and I'll look at my mom and dad. I'm like, I don't believe a fucking thing they're saying. I'm not buying it. I'm not giving it my energy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? No.
Yeah. And I think that's the key right there. And there's a lot of people that are, tuning out or turning it off or calling bullshit, calling the
Yeah.
spade where they see the
Watching it as a
spade.
comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are realizing that it's kind of like a movie that we're watching, right? So
Absolutely.
I think and it's cool how, our show tonight is about Gitmo and bad guys getting arrested and punished properly and all that stuff. And that goes hand in hand with all of this.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it's so much bigger than politics. It's so much bigger
So
than
much.
race. It's so much bigger than whose religion is right and wrong.
Right.
It's like all encompassing, and they literally put their tentacles in everything we have.
Literally.
Yeah,
Literally everything.
yeah,
Everything.
down to the school curriculum, right?
Yep.
And don't even get me started there.
That's a whole nother
I'm
show.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I homeschool my kids. God,
Good for you.
yeah, this has
Oftentimes
really
people
gotten
think,
bad.
well, or people say to me, I don't talk politics. And I'm like, don't get it twisted. I don't like politics. I like
Right,
watching political system collapse.
right,
That's my jam.
yeah, and we need to have a fair and balanced political
Hmm.
system, one that, where we do get to audit them and
Yeah.
look at the checks and balances and call them out where we need to. It needs to go back to the way it was meant to be per our forefathers. And I
Yeah.
think that's
And not
what
an
our
illusion of
president's trying to do.
choice, because that's what it's been for so long. You vote
Right.
Democrat, you vote Republican. It don't matter because it's the
It
same
doesn't
New World
matter.
Order pieces of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just like with 2020, this is not the first election that's ever been overthrown
No.
or
Oh,
fiddled with.
hell no.
I'm sure there's people that remember back when Oh my God, what's his name? The guy that's all about global warming.
Al
He was
Gore.
a senator. He ran for president.
Was it Al
I
Gore?
think no, not Al Gore, the other one. Kerry.
John Kerry.
John Kerry
Yeah.
was, I believe, running against Bush Jr., if I
Okay.
remember correctly. And it looked like Kerry won. And then a couple hours later, they said, oh, we counted wrong in Florida and Bush Jr. is actually the winner.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what just happened here?
Yeah.
That seems kind of fudged.
Oh,
But
God,
nobody
that
ever
was
did anything about it. Nobody pushed
that
it.
was the first election I was legally able to vote, and I hate to say that I voted for Bush.
Yeah.
I didn't know any
I think-
better, but it wouldn't
I
have
think I
mattered.
did too.
It wouldn't have
No, I mean,
mattered.
apparently it doesn't matter. But I think I did too. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's a good point that you bring up there. Let's address that for a minute because
Okay.
there's a lot of people that don't know the things we know that when they do start knowing, they're going to realize that they did cast their vote for these people that are really heinous and ugly and committed crimes that are unimaginable to the majority of us.
Yeah.
And we did send them our support money and, we bought into their narrative and we believed their whatever, whether it's in music or politics or whatever it was, like we cast our vote for them, right?
Right.
We were supporting them. I mean, I've had people
Mhm.
just within the music industry that are realizing what's going on there to say to me, man, I really liked their music. Now I feel so bad because I supported them and bought all their albums and stuff. And we have to all remember that we didn't know. It
Right.
isn't our fault. We can't
Yes.
blame ourselves for
No,
contributing
we
to
can't.
it. We can't look at it like it was blood money or anything like that. Like
Right.
we just can't because we were all duped. I mean, none of us
Every single one of them.
are innocent in that, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah.
We were all naive. We were all in the program.
Yeah.
Just some of us woke up from it sooner than others. That's all.
hmm
So
But I
we
think
can't.
we all woke up when we were supposed to.
I do too. I do too. Yeah, and
Yep.
I think that's why we're seeing the majority wake up now because something really big is getting ready to happen.
Oh yeah.
I'm so
Right around the
excited.
corner, girl.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I'm really,
I'm
really
so
excited about it. I think I had another clip I want to go to real quick. Let me put my
Okay.
glasses on so I can see what I'm doing.
Okay.
Oh, right. This was about that 3 volley salute that I wanted everybody to
Oh
be able to
yes.
understand better.
Derek Johnson. Good stuff.
Yeah.
a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is a violation of the 20th Amendment of the Constitution. He was sworn in before noon, which means it's illegitimate.
Joseph Robinette Patton, the 46th President of the United States. Congratulations, Mr. President. You'll officially become president in about 9 minutes, 9.5 minutes at midnight.
We didn't just make up the rule. If you want to do some reading, that means there was 2 presidents at the same time. Different sets of soldiers. So when you look at the soldiers around Biden that day, there's not one single uniform that's regulation uniform. And I always hold up my buddy's memorial here. You know, the uniform, we serve in a uniform, we die in a uniform. The ultimate sacrifice is to die in it. So that's why we treasure the uniform. And under all the other presidents, Bush Sr., Clinton, Bush Jr., Obama, President Trump's first, then you'll see, once again, they touch the wreath. It's a sacred thing they do with the wreath. All right, so when you look at that, you'll see soldiers around him. If you look at the C-SPAN, it's 9 hours and 25 minutes long, but fast forward to it, you'll see soldiers that don't have a PC cap on. These soldiers with PC caps on, and there's one there without one. It's done on purpose, first off. The 3-piece volley. Go for it. This is probably the most monumental thing that I saw the whole day. I punched my dad's refrigerator when I saw it because I got so fired up. But for artillery guys, 3-piece volley. Like once again, I'm not an artillery guy by trade, but I know what they look like. So it's called a 3-volley salute. It's not to be confused with a 21-gun salute. And you'll read that when you see this article here. But 3-volley salute, 3 pieces of artillery, 2 for fire and 1 for misfire. All right, so that's what Joe Biden received. And so what you were witnessing on January 20th, 2021, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. received a full-grade military funeral service.
And the majority of the soldiers all have their back to him going into
I
the White
know.
House.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah.
was so huge. That was so telling.
And so many people just didn't want to And then, oh God, this part right here. Holy shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a mess.
Boom.
Jim Carrey was one of the actors playing Joe Biden. They arrested pretty much in 2020. They arrested almost everybody between 2020 and 2021, and the majority of them were given some sort of deal. If you cooperate with us, you get to leave a legacy. So we'll say that you died of a heart attack or whatever. But they were all executed. But like there were some of them that got little special deals. Like Sam Smith is another one. He doesn't want to be up there doing this silly shit he's doing. He is not happy with doing that at all. But he's doing it because that's part of the deal that he took. Like, we're going to put you up there and you're going to go up there and you're going to make a fool of yourself because we're waking people up. So that's why they have people dancing as demons. They're putting it right in your face now to wake people up. So there's certain people that got special little, like, yo, you do this. We'll let you off the hook if you do this for us. You got to play a part in this operation.
And while I do agree that they have to play a part in it, I don't think that they're just being let off the hook either.
No. Oh, hell no.
Because there's several of them that are having to play a part that will still be punished. It'll just be a lesser sentence.
Do you think the ones that agreed to play their part might get to keep their reputation intact? Or do you think that might have been just what the White Hats agreed to, but then when it all comes out, it all comes out?
I think it depends on the person and the crime, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
Because let's take Bush Sr., for example, Papa Bush.
Yeah.
So everybody that's in the know, that's been a researcher or that was following what the researchers were finding and reporting, they are aware that his funeral was actually a disgraced funeral. And so was John McCain's.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
No name McCain, right?
Yeah.
We don't say his name.
He's
both of
Voldemort.
them had a flag on their coffin upside down, right?
Yeah.
It was opposite of what it should be, and it was wrinkled.
Yeah.
Which means a disgraceful funeral, right? They were disgraced to America. That's the symbolism of that. Okay. Both of them were passed off to the public for the time being as passing away from an illness. Okay.
Right.
But I don't think that that's going to let them completely get off the hook, even though they passed away, right? Their sentence was death for what they've done. I don't think they get to keep their place in history because of it. I think that theirs was probably more of like, let the family have their dignity, don't punish the family for what I've done, kind of a thing. The sins of the father fall on the son stuff, right? Something like that, probably.
Yeah.
I think when it all comes out, because like the notes that everybody got at the funeral that we played the clip of earlier, it says they know everything. I'm sorry. So he wrote a full confession and had a video confession that were locked away prior to him going out, however he went out, allegedly. Okay.
Yeah.
So all of that will go into the tribunals. It will go into whether it's international tribunal court or national tribunal court, which both are going on. And that's something that a lot of people don't know right now, too, is that we actually have an international court happening of crimes against humanity.
Yeah.
Okay. Anytime something crossed from country to country, it becomes an international law thing, and Interpol is involved. And they actually have had a shit ton of people deputized in the past couple of years that weren't there before. So that's very telling that international courts are happening. Because why would you need to deputize so many more people, right? Unless you were rounding people up and arresting them and bringing them into court. So there's that. And I kind of lost where I was going with that when I got off on the international tangent part of it.
That's all right.
Let me think about it a second. I don't know. I'll come back to it, I guess. Anyway, they're not gonna get away scot-free. Like, their reputation unblemished was my point I was getting to. But then other people, maybe, depends on what they've done.
Right.
If they were just witness to things, yeah, they probably get off scot-free. Just come be a witness.
Yeah.
Right. Write down what you've witnessed, and because a lot of people were, blackmailed or scared, somehow manipulated in some way to have to cooperate or to at least keep their mouth shut about things that were going on. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, those people probably are the ones out there, on the stages putting it in everybody's face right now and showing them what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe even
Absolutely.
Gaga for all we know. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh yeah. I can't wait to
That's a
find out.
personal opinion thing, so I'll keep that part to myself.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah. I'm pretty stoked about it myself.
You think we're
And
still
you
gonna get the EBS?
well, yeah, I think that could really happen, but I think it might be more of a worldwide thing than just us.
Yeah. I hope we get it. I think we need it. But
Mhm.
I thought this shit was gonna pop off in 2020. I really did.
Oh,
When we went
girl.
on lockdown here, like my job closed for a couple weeks or whatever, and then I'm like sitting at home, like, okay, any minute now, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah. No, I had done figured out in 2019 when Q was saying that they were going to steal the election. I mean, we need to be patient because this stuff is going to take time. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
You got to have enough legal evidence against people for charges to stick. I totally get it.
Right.
But I
Right.
was so fucking pissed about that. I was so pissed. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, fuck this. This is
Yes.
bullshit.
I
Like,
was
this
wanting
ain't
to
the way
riot
we
the
should.
streets.
Me too. I was like so mad. Like, no, why are you going to let them just do that and watch? Why?
Yes.
And, it was all that trust the plan stuff. But I'm just like anybody else. It's kind of hard to trust the plan when it looks like it's all going to go to hell in a handbasket. You
Yep.
know?
That's why I quit keeping up for a while. Because I was like, I
That's
really
why a lot of
thought
people
shit,
did.
I thought shit was gonna hit the fan. I thought we just needed to hunker down, and then it was like, okay, we're still here. Shit's still crazy. I got to figure out what I'm gonna do. You
Yep.
know.
Yep. But in the meantime, while all of that was happening behind the scenes, people like you and me learned our karmic lessons, grew in soul growth, started getting on our path where we belong, getting
Yep.
ourselves right for where we need to
Yep.
be for when stuff does happen. And so
Right.
it all worked out as part of
Oh,
God's plan,
absolutely. And that's kind
Hindsight's
of how the whole
2020.
trust the plan. I wasn't trusting necessarily in Q's plan. I was trusting in God's plan.
Right, me
You
too.
know. Yep.
Yep. Me too. So yeah, I'm excited, but I also kind of feel bad for people that are sort of like clueless, to what's happening right now and what they're going to be seeing, because it is going to be really shocking. It's going to be
It is.
life changing. I mean, it'll be life changing.
But we are everywhere. People like us are everywhere, and we're ready to hold their hand and give them two shoulders to cry on. Like, it's okay.
Right.
Come here. We'll get through this together.
Yeah, definitely.
We got this.
Yeah, we got this. But it is going to be hard for them. It is,
It is.
And I just feel bad for them for it. I guess it's the Cancerian in me. I just want to be everybody's mother and protect them, and you can't shield them from this because they have to damn see it.
No.
Like they have to know it for themselves. They can't just take our word for it.
Yeah, they can't. No.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Okay. That brings me to one more thing, because
All
I know
right.
it's getting late. We're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon, but I wanted to share one more part of that video. And I'll put the link down below for everybody that's interested in looking at the whole video, because it's like 20 minutes
And
long or something.
everyone should watch it. I've watched it 3 times. Watch the video. It's so worth it. It's only like 20 minutes long, people.
Yeah, but it's packed full of information, isn't it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Gave me chills all 3 times.
I know, right? All right. Here we go.
Created an executive order. Within that, he outlined in future elections any kind of foreign or domestic interference, specifically for the 2020 election. So we say, how did he know some of these things were going to happen? Election integrity on both sides of the aisle is tough. It's really tough. But what this has done is it's opened the door for Trump to present his case.
Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Because I mean, what we see on this side of the pond is a very difficult situation where the legal system is politicized in the United States, which is abhorrent to us over here. So the fact that Trump can subpoena, some people saying it's a mistake by Jack Smith, but actually he can subpoena. People can actually see evidence from both sides. That's a sensible move.
Exactly, and it's a great mistake by Jack Smith that he's done that. Absolutely great. See, the thing is, think about Edward Snowden and all the information he had. Think about the fact that our military, our Department of Defense Space Force, if you think that they don't have the actual real results from the election, then you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, but
I love that part.
Yeah. She came onto the scene. I was like, oh my God. Because she confirmed that we weren't crazy.
Right.
Miss
And I
Jan.
actually watched this deal happen in real time, so I knew we had the evidence.
Yeah. But I
So
saw
that
her name
was
is
really exciting.
Jan Halper Hayes, and I saw her. I was watching PPN Patriot Party News, and they were showing a clip of, I guess, Britain's Good Morning America or whatever, something like that. And I'm like, oh my God, like it was something I needed to hear at the time, because she was like Trump's advisor. She's not gonna just ruin her entire reputation with conspiracy theories, you know. So that was huge for me.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So I want to play a little bit more of this here real quick.
Okay.
This is fishy, okay? This is not an accident. This isn't an intelligence failure, okay? This was allowed to take place because they have wanted Trump out by any means necessary. And these are one of the means now, okay? And I don't believe, by the way, this is going to be the last assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I don't believe that whatsoever, because I've been feeling it. I've had a feeling that things are growing more sinister because they're losing control. More people are starting to wake up. More people are starting to realize that all the things that they believed to be conspiracy theories in the past are in fact true. We are.
Take a look what happened.
That was by the grace of God.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna bring everybody together. We want
And this is the song that played at the end of the film, The Sum of All Fears, in which all of the traitors and deep state actors were executed. And Trump is always using symbolism and song to pass a message.
Hell yeah, he is. Hell yeah.
So I'll stop it there. I'm not going to play the whole song. Not that big of a fan of opera.
No, me neither.
But I thought
the
it was like
symbolism.
poetic justice at the end, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Very
girl.
cool.
Oh my God.
And I'm
Very
so stoked.
exciting
And
times we're living in.
it is. It really is. And anybody that's watching, if you've got questions about any of this stuff that we've talked about, just leave a comment down below. We're both going to watch
Please do.
for the
Yes.
comments, and we're happy to reply to you, catch you up to speed, share links or information of how we came to
Absolutely.
where we're at right now with all of this. Definitely like and share the video far and wide, and let's wake up
Yes.
everyone and get them up to
Yes.
speed, because pretty soon this is going to be coming out to the public.
Mhm.
And we feel like, by helping to share this now before it starts coming out and bombarding people, it'll be easier for you to understand what it is that you're seeing when it is
Yep.
viewed publicly.
Now is the time to play catch up. For those of you who don't quite understand what we're talking about, now is the time to understand, And yeah, comment, ask questions. That's what we're here for. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And with that, Jennifer, it's been a pleasure to do this show with you tonight. I always enjoy being with you.
Thank you for having me.
And
I'm
for
gonna
the
do many
viewers,
more.
yeah, I was going to say, for the viewers that don't know, We're actually going to be doing this from now on Monday nights. And we may even start doing it live stream so that you can see it in real time and talk to us in real time and ask questions if you need to.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to be deep diving into a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Totally.
And for the viewers, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook is Jennifer Huff. My profile picture is a black and white cat. You can add me. You can message me. I will answer any questions, send links, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And everybody that watches me knows how you can find me. So I'm not going to plug that. But for now, we will bid you adieu. Everyone stay well and stay blessed and stay tuned in. We'll be back.
Absolutely. We will be back.
We'll be back.